Welcome. My name is Taylor Martin, and I'm going to be talking today about the Central United Life Dental, Vision, and Hearing Plan. And we're going to spend a little time understanding the product because, of course, to be able to sell something, it's critically important to understand how the product works. But what I like to do is spend most of my time on how to sell it, and specifically how to cross-sell this to Medicare supplement clients. We'll also touch on how to cross-sell it to Medicare Advantage and also ACA clients. The beautiful thing about this product, it's one of a very few that crosses the line at 65 seamlessly. In other words, you're talking to somebody who's turning 65. They've got a spouse who's 5 years younger than them, as I do. You can talk to that spouse and enroll them just like you can the 65-year-old with the exact same product, and they likely have the exact same need for that product. So that's one of the things I always point out when I'm giving this presentation is make sure you ask about younger spouses. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, why offer this plan? There are some others in the market, some of which have been out there for a while. Hopefully I'll be able to help agents understand, why we're confident that this is the strongest plan on the market currently. So the beautiful thing is all of you guys know on the call who are not currently selling dental, this is the number one product that clients actually ask you about. Unlike cancer, which I've got a passion for cancer, as you know, Chris, but that's a product that you're probably never going to get asked about. You've got to sell that product. I don't want to make this sound too simple, but this is the opposite. This is a product that people are going to ask you about. And I already touched on the second bullet, over 65, under 65, 21, 81, it really doesn't matter. The beautiful thing about this product. So the biggest issue people typically have with dental insurance is network plans. Humana's a solid plan that's out there, but it's a network-based plan. It's only going to work well in the city. This product has no networks. You go to any dentist anywhere in the United States that you want to go see. And when we go through the presentation, we'll touch on what if my dentist doesn't take insurance? Well, the short version is he takes cash. This is an indemnity policy. It also does not coordinate. So if you have somebody who has maybe some dental coverage as part of their Medicare Advantage plan, and they like the provider that's in that network, they can continue to see that person and file on their insurance they have through the Medicare Advantage plan, and then take that same receipt and file on this plan with Central United Life because it is an indemnity plan. It doesn't coordinate. We'll talk a lot more about that as we kind of go through the presentation because it's important to understand it's a real benefit of this product. Fourth bullet is key, and that's why specifically in phone sales, this product does extremely well because agents do a really good job of helping the client know what Medicare does, and in this case, what it doesn't do. Except for extreme examples, Medicare covers no dental, vision, or hearing. And I'm not going to take time explaining what those extreme examples are. Most people on this call are probably aware of them. But traditional dental work, vision, or hearing is not going to be covered by Medicare. And so we'll touch on this a little bit more as well, but when you're turning 65, hopefully bells should be going off in your head that if you add 2 or 3 more minutes to your turning 65 presentation to help your client understand that Medicare does virtually nothing in all 3 of these categories, and you say, great news, Mrs. Jones, I've got a very affordable solution that's going to take care of that for you. It's about $1 a day, and it's going to cover, and then you go through your presentation on that. This is a product people want to buy because they likely don't have any dental insurance, or maybe they had dental insurance when they worked. Now they're retiring, they're turning 65, and they're losing that coverage because they're no longer working. You see that all the time. So don't be afraid to ask a client when they're turning 65, talk to me about the insurance you've got right now. You're coming off an employer plan. What are you keeping? What are you not able to keep? Are the costs going to change on the plans that you've got that you're able to keep? Is it a network-based plan? Can you go to any dentist? Do you like the dentist you can see? And same thing goes for other products. Do you have life insurance? Are you going to be able to keep the life insurance you have? What are you paying for all those products? those are questions a client expects you to ask if you're going to be helping them with your health insurance, and they're hoping that you can help them with a lot more. Cross-selling is so critical. If you take that concern of being the pushy salesman out of your head and, I just want to sell one product and I'm going to, get off the phone as soon as I can and go to the next one. I mean, guys, we all know that next call could be a total waste of time. Take your time with the client who likes you, the Medicare supplement presentation is going well, your Med Advantage, your ACA, whatever presentation you're giving them, if it's going well and you've got a buyer on your hands, take the extra time. Talk to them about this product because they'd much rather work with one person who has their Social Security, Medicare number, banking info, than give that out to multiple people over the phone. They're already concerned that doing business over the phone, oh my gosh, I could be scammed, whatever. You can offer that to them and not have some other random guy have to go through that with them. So those are just some things to kind of get in your head. The next bullet down here is really unique to this product. I have not seen another dental, vision, and hearing plan that works like this one. And what I mean by that is that this is a pool of money. We'll go through the product highlights on the next slide, and I'll go into more detail. But the critical thing to understand is, unlike some of the competing products in this space, there is not a lower benefit on hearing or on vision. More specifically, you'll see with other carriers, you have $250 of credit that you can use towards glasses every other year, or you can get one hearing aid a year from other plans. I always thought that was kind of crazy. I don't know about you. I got 2 ears, so yeah, when it's that time, I'm going to want them both. I'm not going to want to have to get one and then wait another year to get another one.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of crazy, right?
It is.
So with this product, good news, you've got that 1,000 or 1,500 client chooses, and they can use it for anything. Maybe 1 year it's all dental they need. They've got that crown, they've got the root canal, which tragically those typically go together. Maybe the next year, it's hearing aids. So that's a beautiful thing about this plan is there's lots of ways to get to that cap, not just dental. As I like to joke, a lot of the other plans out there are really dental, vision, and hearing. It's almost all dental with a touch of vision and hearing. This one's really what you want it to be. So we'll touch on that a little bit as we go through it. Again, for the call center model, one of the things that I love about this product is it's national. So the rates are the same everywhere. The benefits are the same everywhere. The comp is the same everywhere. So when you go from one call in Arizona and the next year in Alabama, you don't have to use a lot of brain power to remember your presentation. It's the exact same. So breath of fresh air. I'm a little biased here. We're not talking about Medicare Advantage, so I can say this, but CUL, in my opinion, offers the best combination of premium, benefits, and commissions on any DVH plan in the market. And we're going to talk about comp. That will be something that we'll cover, but that'll be a little bit later on as I really try to whet your appetite for this product. But let's dive in and look at what the plan benefits look like. Okay, so 18 to 85. And for those of you who are familiar with this product, you're probably going, but wait, Taylor, I thought it was 75. Well, good news, guys. Unlike some of the other competing products that are out there that are taking rate increases, benefit decreases, making wholesale changes to their plans, this product has been out for, not quite 2 years, right about 2 years actually right now. And in that time, they've been so impressed with the quality of the business that they've received that instead of making those negative changes, they decided to increase the age band from 75 at the top end to 85. This product used to be guaranteed renewable until age 80. Now it's guaranteed renewable for life, just like a Medicare supplement. So, again, we're not talking rate increases, benefit decreases, commission cuts. We're talking a liberalization of the plan. Hopefully that gives you the comfort it gives me that you're talking about the right product to your client. Policy or maximum, pretty simple. You've either got 1,000 or you've got 1,500 to choose from. There's a policy year deductible, and notice it's per person because unlike some of the other products that are in this space, we'll go through rates in a minute, but there are family rates with this plan. Not something you're typically going to offer over 65, but if you've got a family that's, my age, where you've got a 40-year-old, a 35, and some kids, that's going to make sense for them. We'll go through that when we go through the rates in a minute. But understand if it is a family plan, say there's 4 people like there are in mine, it's essentially like having 4 individual policies, but on a family plan. So that's why there's a $100 per person policy or deductible. So whether it's dental, vision, or hearing, the math is the same on the percentages. In year 1, if it's covered, it's 60%. Year 2, 70. Year 3 is 80%. There is built-in persistency measures in the product that is meant to reward the client the longer they have it by getting additional coverage or additional coinsurance, higher coinsurance. So some of the things that separate this policy, kind of continuing that theme, you heard me talk earlier about the pool of money. Well, the preventative coverage on this plan is robust. So let's dive in and understand what that means. So as long as they can get as many fillings as they want, Chris, Chad in my office, in his first year of having this plan, he has it himself. I forget if he had 5 or 7 fillings.
Yeah, he told me he used it 8 times his first year total.
He figured out how to max it out, and it gets better. In year 2, he had excellent timing, and it was in the second year when he had to get I forget if he had to get a root canal and a crown, but it was one or the other or maybe both, and so he got both of those covered as well.
Wow.
Good timing. So there's no limit on fillings. Those are covered day 1. Most other plans, there's at least a 6-month wait on fillings. Extractions. You can get as many extractions as necessary in the first year without a waiting period, so long as it's not your last tooth. So if you go down to basic services, you're probably going, what are you talking about? You'll see where it talks about it being a full mouth extraction. So think dentures. Somebody's going to dentures, they're getting however many teeth they have left pulled because they're going to dentures. So as long as it's not a full mouth extraction, and they're getting 1, 5, 15 teeth pulled, as long as it's not their last one, that's covered in the first, covered day 1 immediately without any limits, again, except that it can't be their last one, which would qualify as a full mouth extraction. So all the usual cleaning stuff, the bite wing x-rays, the dentist looking at your teeth, the cleanings, everything that goes into the normal cleaning, all that's covered immediately. So this is not a plan. Again, there is the $100 per person deductible, but this is not a plan that makes you wait to get, what you need done as far as maintenance work. Majors, we are talking about a 12-month wait, and like it says here, that's the big stuff. Crowns, root canals, full dentures, partials, all the big stuff. And that's covered starting in year 2 at 70%, year 3 at 80%. On vision, it's a little simpler. We've got a 6-month wait on glasses and contact lenses. After that, same percentages, 60% year 1, 70 year 2, 80 year 3. The exam, just like with hearing, whether it's an eye exam or a hearing exam, those are covered immediately. They can go ahead and get those immediately, but again, they're not going to be able to get the glasses, or in the case of hearing aids, they're not going to be able to get the hearing aid for 12 months. I always encourage people, hey, wait until you can do that at the same time. Get the glasses that you need after you get the exam, get the hearing aids you need after the exam. And again, vision's 6-month wait on glasses or contact lenses. Hearing is a 12-month wait, just like with the majors on dental. Guarantee issue, didn't touch on that earlier, excuse me, but there are no health questions. So, again, bells should be going off. You talk to somebody as part of your presentation and you find out that they're not able to qualify for a Medicare supplement or MA plan or an ACA plan, whatever it is you're talking to them about, the first thing that you should go to is, Mr. Jones, tragically, I'm not going to be able to help you right now with whatever plan it is that you were hoping to get. But the good news is, based on what you've told me, we should be able to apply for you in 6 months, since it's been a year and a half since you had a stroke. But I can help you today on your dental, vision, and hearing, because as you told me, you don't have anything there. That's definitely a need. We can fill that for about $1 a day on a $1,000 benefit plan. So you sell that person a dental plan, they're going to be very receptive when you call them back in 6 months to do that service on their Medicare supplement or whatever it may be. So the minute you find out that somebody can't qualify, this is your go-to product. And as I'll show you when we go through the commissions, you'll find out that it's worth your time. As I believe I mentioned a few minutes ago, this is a guaranteed renewable for life product, just like Medicare supplements. They buy it, and as long as they pay their premiums, they'll never be canceled. Let's go ahead and take a look at the premiums, and we'll talk about the family rates at that time. All right, so we've got either $1,000 or $1,500 benefit, and you'll see the premiums are age-banded. We've got five different age bands, and as I touched on earlier, the 75 to 85 age band is new, and you'll see it's kind of right in line with the other premiums. It's only a few dollars higher than the existing band of 65 to 74. So this is an issue age plan. It's important to understand that because when you're talking to people, you're always trying to figure out a way to create urgency. With Medicare supplements, it's easy. They're either turning 65 or they've got a rate increase and they're trying to get ahead of that so they don't get it. Medicare Advantage, you've got annual enrollment. This is your only window. You've got until this deadline. We need to make a decision soon. So urgency is pretty similar. ACA, similar deal. We've got the window of, ACA enrollment ends, here at the end of the year. So you've got some time there that's built in. With dental, you really don't have that. But if you've got somebody who is 64, 74, and any of those other top of the age bands for as far as their age go, if somebody enrolls at 64 and they can be 364 days, they'll pay a $29 premium in the case of a $1,000 individual rate for the rest of their life. Again, rate increases would be based, if when there surely will be at some point, there haven't been any yet, but they'll be based off that $29 premium. It's not like a Medicare supplement where when they turn 65, happy birthday, Mrs. Jones, you've got a new premium. That doesn't happen. This is an issue age plan. So let's look at the difference between 74 and 75. We're talking close to $5 a month. Mrs. Jones, good news, you're 74. You told me you currently don't have any dental, vision, and hearing coverage. If you enroll in this today or anytime before you turn 75, you're going to save a little more than a month's premium the rest of your life because it's almost $5 difference in premium. Call that $60. Shoot, we're close to 2 months of free premium by enrolling today and not waiting until you're 75. So again, the takeaway on what I'm telling you from a sales standpoint is you're talking to a 64-year-old, open enrollment. That's obviously something you need to go to as part of your presentation if you're starting to get the I want to think about it or they're trying to put you off for some reason. Keep that in mind. Same thing goes at 74. Let's look at the premium difference between $1,000 and the $1,500 benefit plan. 64, we're going from 29 to 38, or to keep the math even easier, it's 65, 31 to 41. So for $10 more a month, for 33% additional premium, if you want to go that route, you're getting $500 more coverage. You're getting 50% more coverage. Don't curb sell for your clients. Always talk to them about the $1,500 plan. If they've recently had a root canal or dentures or any kind of major work, they'll recognize that there's some value, especially when you look at the premium. The additional premium paying for it is so minimal to go to $1,500. So keep that in mind. Family rates, just touch on that for a minute. I know your main audience, Chris, is senior market. For seniors, the beautiful thing is if it's two people, you're selling two individual plans, which means two commissions. Family rates are great. However, it's one commission. Again, it's based on the annualized premium, so as you'll see there, the premium is going to be higher, so that largely kind of takes care of itself. And when you look at the premium at 60, let's look at 40. We're at 27, so 54, 61. So, I mean, you're looking at 3 to 4 people. Really, 4 people is where you start getting a premium break on the family rates. Other than that, you're selling individual plans. And again, the policy works, even if it's a family rate, it's still like however many people in that family have an individual policy because there is that individual annual deductible. let's talk about how to enroll this product. This is somewhat, kind of the specifics of the product, but many people who will listen to this are probably familiar with the Manhattan Life Medicare Supplement, a very popular product over the last 2 years, and very popular with people who do phone sales because of the ease of the enrollment using their e-app tool. And the good news is this is a sister company of Manhattan Life, Century United Life. It's a different login that you'll use when you log into their website if you are familiar with the Manhattan Life MedSup. But you go to the exact same enrollment tool, which means you've got the mother's maiden name as a signature. And let's jump ahead real quick and look at that. But when you see down here at the bottom, mother's maiden name, that's all you need to type in. There's no email that goes to the client that they've got to receive and then click on and then DocuSign, or there's none of that stuff. This is very simple. Chris, you said that I know you're just getting your feet wet here, but you sold 2 of these, and talk to me about how easy the enrollment was.
No, super easy. I mean, we went right from our screen of doing the Medicare supplement sale right into copying the information right into this application, asking them for the mother's maiden name to verify everything at the end, and they were amazed as we were as to how easy it was just to get it done all in one fell swoop. It's real easy.
How much additional time did it take you to pivot from your Medicare supplement to go into the DVH presentation and from start to finish, closing it to the first thing you said?
Maybe 10 minutes. It was a yes, yes, yes all the way through, everything. Yes, we recognize we need it. We've been looking for this. We wanted a solution, and then about 5 minutes each to go through the application, just merely copying and pasting from what we had done in the MedSup app. Not even 5 minutes to do each application. Super easy.
And that's pretty typical. I mean, again, there's no health questions, so you don't have to go through any of that. And curious, were they turning 65 or were they?
Yes.
Yeah.
One was 65 already, and one was 64.
Perfect. Well, again, the discussion at 65 is easy because a lot of them have no clue, as you know, what Medicare does and what it doesn't do.
Right.
And the minute you clarify that Medicare doesn't help them on these 3 things and you provide this solution, it, especially when you talk to them about the premium, it usually is a pretty good conversation. Well, that's great. So payment options, usual stuff here. You know, the monthly bank draft is the most common. Credit card used to be available. That is no longer available. You know, with credit cards, the persistency is just poor. I mean, I don't know about you, but my credit card gets hacked at least once a year, it seems like, and then you've got to spend half a day updating all your drafts and all that. It's just, by nature, not a good model, so they don't make that available anymore. So just your typical annual, semi-annual, quarterly, or monthly bank draft. So let me explain how claims work, because this is important because you will get questions about this. So this is the 3rd bullet on the screen here, and it's titled Usual and Customary Charges. You'll also hear people say reasonable and customary charges, UNC, RNC, same thing. So what these first 3 bullets are the codes or the actual titles for the codes when you go in and get a normal teeth cleaning. The comprehensive exam, believe it or not, that's when the dentist walks in for 2 minutes, checks your teeth, tries to find something else to possibly charge you for, and they're in and out there in 2 or 3 minutes and tell you to come back in 6 months. So that's the $71. Prophylaxis is where the hygienist goes through and actually cleans your teeth, gets the scraper out, and does all the work there. X-rays, typically right when you come in, you get those done. So right there, we're at about $210 that dentist is going to get paid for a normal cleaning. Guys, that's big money. I used to see a dentist when I didn't have insurance, and they would charge me $50 cash for what we just went through right there, and we're happy to get it. So the fact that they're going to get $210 from this policy, yeah, I think you'll find most of them will be very interested in that. But what you'll find, and you look at the last bullet, Crowns, it's about $1,000. That's pretty typical. And those numbers will vary by zip code, by 3-digit zip all across the country, but they're not going to change much. It's not like MedSup where you see pricing all over the map, but it will vary a little bit. So let's talk about claims. How are those handled? We talked about dollar amounts, and let me go back to usual and customary for just a second. So we got a lot of Medicare supplement guys who are going to be listening to this. So with Medicare supplements, say you have a $200 claim with the dentist, with the doctor. Medicare comes in and says, no, they're going to reprice that down to $100. It's a Part B doctor visit, and so Medicare is going to cover 80%. The Medicare supplement is going to pay 20%, in this case $80, $20. So with dentists, much the same. So say that dentist says, I want to charge you $250 for those three things that we just went through. It's going to be repriced to the $210 and change on those first three bullets if you add those up. And then all of the math, let's go back to the last screen here, will be done off of that amount, the $210 amount. So they'll have the policy year deductible, and then they'll have their 60, 70, 80% depending upon what year they're in their coverage. So it's important to help your client understand that. You will get some people who think the plan is going to pay actual charges, or they make that assumption. And the problem with paying actual charges is there's a lot of dentists out there who want to charge some crazy crazy charges for the dental work. Really no different from some of the doctors out there. It's the same reason why Medicare reprices everything for the exact same reason. Keep fraud down, to keep overcharges from happening, which keeps the premium stable. But bottom line, $210 for a cleaning or $1,018 for a crown is a lot of money. So how do claims work? There's two ways. If the dentist will file with the carrier, he'll get paid directly from the company. Not all of them will, and don't put yourself in a jam by trying to tell your client that they'll file. You can't force the dentist to file. It's not like Medicare where they all have to if they accept assignment. So if they don't file, crack out your credit card, your check card, write them a check, give them cash, whatever, pay them. You'll have your receipt, which will show exactly the work that was done. There's a claim form that the client will submit with that receipt to Central United Life. It's about a week to 10 days for them to get reimbursed. So you heard me talk a little bit earlier about how these plans don't coordinate. So here's an example. I'll just piggyback on the example I gave earlier, the person who's got a Medicare Advantage plan with a small network-based coverage as part of their plan. Or maybe it's even a rider that they pay for separately from their MA plan. So they get the network-based plan, so they'll likely have some sort of co-payment, co-insurance, or maybe it's all covered if it's just a regular cleaning. They all vary from plan to plan, so don't make any assumptions there. But once you get that receipt, it shows what was done. Even if there's no money that the client had to pay out of pocket for that cleaning or whatever service they had done, you still file that with Central United Life, and you're going to get reimbursed the usual and customary amount for whatever they had done, even if they didn't have to pay anything out of pocket.
Wow.
That's important to know. This is an indemnity plan that does not coordinate. And it's often on the MA plans where you'll see they have double coverage, but typically the MA dental coverage, this is not 2009 where all MA plans had really robust dental coverage and vision and hearing and free gym memberships and a $3,000 maximum out of pocket. Those days are behind us.
Yeah.
The MA companies all know that most clients only care about one thing, and that's what's the premium.
Yep.
They want zero premium. So what you've seen is all those freebies are gone, or most of them are gone. The United Healthcare plan that has 65% of the DFW market, in fact, it may be 75%. The dental insurance that used to be on that is now a rider. And guys, it costs more than this plan does for less benefits. Yeah. The world's changed in MA. So, but just note that they might have some coverage, but oftentimes it's going to be network-based. They may get one cleaning a year, likely covers no majors, and they probably have to go to a dentist that they never want to step in his office. The network's going to be tight. So that helps you understand hopefully how the claims are done and how the charges are handled. We talked about the e-app. Let's talk about availability. I think you would struggle to find another product in this space that has as good of a map as this one does. Florida is actually, we got some good news here recently, although it shows closed withdrawn on this map. Florida is very close to approving this product. Florida does nothing fast. That's why it can be a challenging state to get stuff approved in. But I'm hoping here we are on mid-November. I think we'll probably have something before the end of the year rolling out in Florida. We're very close. Washington, Nevada, and Minnesota are never going to happen. The product's not been filed in New York and East. We've looked at some of those states. but those can be very difficult, and obviously they're smaller states, so there may be some news coming out there, but Florida is probably the only change that you're going to see here very soon. But again, rates, benefits, commissions are the same in all of these states as they stand right now. Again, makes it very easy in the phone sale model going from one to the next. So let's talk about how to sell this. And I can't help myself. I love sales. I'm a licensed agent and been a trip qualifier, sold a lot of business, and managed a lot of agents. I love the sales process. So let's specifically talk about how to cross-sell this plan to an ACA or a MedSup or a MedAdvantage plan. And again, I say I can't help myself. I've kind of gone through a bunch of these already, so we'll come back and touch on them. I just want to make sure you don't feel like you don't have the tools or know how to bring it up with your client. So, but number one, if you don't start the conversation, it's likely not going to happen, or at least not in the numbers that you want. Again, you are fortunate that this is the product that clients are going to ask you about, unlike cancer, which I mentioned earlier. But still, if you don't make a point to talk to every one of your clients about this, you're still not going to sell a lot. There's various ways to bring up the question. And I recommend you try all these and see which one you're most comfortable with. You'll see the question that we have on there is, Mrs. Jones, when was the last time you had your teeth cleaned? Notice that is not a yes or a no question. It's going to give you some information. I asked my mom that same question, and she goes, it's been about 2 years. Well, obviously, mom needs to get her some dental insurance. If you want to be more direct and you want to say, Mrs. Jones, do you currently have any dental, vision, or hearing coverage? Go for it. Try it. See if that works for you. There's no silver bullet on this. The most important thing is making the commitment to start the conversation. The next bullet is really kind of bringing out the point to hopefully help you understand that this is not very difficult. And the question that I would ask you is, did you sell the first insurance presentation that you ever made? And when I pull the room, when I'm giving face-to-face presentations on this, usually it's about 5%. I've seen it as high as 10. I actually sold my first one. Cards on the table, she probably would have bought from anybody. And I say that because I sold nothing the rest of the day. I had 4 appointments that day, and I sold nothing the next 2 days. This was 15 years ago when I was going face-to-face selling Medicare supplements. Fortunately, on Friday, I started the week on Tuesday. I sold 3 or 4 policies, and it was good from there. But I was really scared Thursday night when I had only one sale in 3 full days. But I survived. I got through this. So will all of you so did everybody else on this phone, whether you sold that first one or not. So the point that I'm making is when you talk about this the first time, you're probably not going to be very good at it, just like you weren't that first presentation that you made. But you're going to hear objections. You're going to get more comfortable with the product. You're not going to stutter your way through it because you know it, because you're comfortable with it, you're confident. You're going to get better with practice. So don't get frustrated. Talk about this every single time, and you will reap the benefits. We talked about Medicare Advantage plans a minute ago. Very few of them cover any dental, vision, or hearing. Typically, if they might cover one of those. It's rare that they cover all 3. They may cover 2 of the 3, but again, look at the coverage. It's likely very limited. Again, I told you I get ahead of myself here. Talked about turning 65. Obviously, Chris reiterated the point when he talked about the 2 that he sold here just this week. But turning 65 is the ideal time to have this discussion. But over 65 is great too, because keep in mind, most agents don't cross-sell because there's not been a really good product in this space. There's your excuse if you need it. But people haven't been talked to about this. They don't know that it exists. So make sure you bring this up to all of your clients, over 65, under 65. Again, 18 to 85, they're a potential client, and there's no health questions. Again, I keep jumping ahead. I touched on the next bullet as well. You've got somebody who's uninsurable on a MedSup. Guys, this is close that MedSup book, go right to this one. Same thing with the Medicare Advantage client that you've got during a lock-in. Maybe right now it's AEP, but you get past AEP, you get past the Medicare Advantage disenrollment period, that person is locked into that Medicare Advantage plan. You can sell them a dental plan. You can sell them a cancer plan. A little plug to listen to the cancer training that Chris and I did a couple of months ago on why cancer is so critical with Medicare Advantage plans. But those are the two policies that you can pivot to on Medicare Advantage during a lock-in. And again, you sell them one or both of those products, AEP rolls around next year. Now they're your client. You can call them any day of the week. Mrs. Jones, great news. Looks like we've got some alternative Medicare Advantage products that might work a little bit different, might work a little better for you this year. Let's have a discussion. Let's go through it, see if that's the case. Or once you recognize that you are responsible for 20% of the cost of radiation and chemo up to your maximum out of pocket, some of those clients will be begging to get into a Medicare supplement plan come AEP next year. So the point is, get your foot in the door by selling them something. So another timing thing to point out, when you're talking about somebody who's got a Medicare supplement and you're saving them money, somebody who's over 65, maybe it's you're saving them, say it's $50. Let's make this one easy on me. I know that difference is always not that great, but let's say it's $50. Okay. You go through your presentation on the Medicare supplement, and before you give them the premium on the Medicare supplement, go into your dental presentation. You find there's an interest. So what I recommend doing is saying, okay, Mrs. Jones, your premium for the plan that you have right now, and I would also include a future rate increase if there's one pending. I'd throw that math in there, do the math, figure out what it's going to be. All right, so your premium is going to $175 for the plan that you've got right now. The good news is, Mrs. Jones, I'm going to be able to get you, I'm going to be able to save you $19 a month and get you the same benefits you have right now in your Medicare supplement, but I'm also going to be able to get you benefits you don't have. We're going to be able to plug that hole that you've got right now by getting you a dental, vision, and hearing plan with Central United Life. That's on top of the premium savings by switching from Company A to Company B on your Medicare supplement. I recommend doing it that way, and so the math there is, I'm assuming it's a $31 premium and then a $19 savings with the $50 difference on the Med Supp. Try that way first, guys, because if you go this route, great news, Mrs. Jones, we're going to save you $50 a month on your Medicare supplement premium. $50, $600 a year. I bet that covers all your Christmas gifts, maybe your birthday gifts too for all those grandkids you were telling me about. So now you try to pull $31 out of that. That's their money, guys. So try it the other route first. I think you'll find it'll be easier because, again, once you tell them what those savings are, literally it's almost like you handed them $50 and you're trying to pull $31 back. So, again, give it a try. Prove me wrong, but I think you'll find that I'm making sense there. Don't be afraid. I'm right in the middle of AEP right now, and Chris, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to do this at this busy time. But once December 7th starts, or hits, or December 8th, I should say, hits, or really after the first of the year, because it's pretty slow. Everybody's, getting their premiums figured out, getting their plans, getting their cards switched out. Really January, when it's pretty slow, February, where it's pretty slow, this is the product to go back to your clients about. Call them up. Mrs. Jones, hey, I appreciate you seeing me during AEP or talking to me on the phone during AEP. I'm so glad we were able to get your dental, vision, and get your Medicare supplement taken care of, your Medicare Advantage plan placed, whatever it may be, ACA plan done. We were so busy, you were in a hurry. I had 3 other people I had to call that hour. It was a busy time of year. Didn't have time to go through a really critical piece of, people's health insurance, and that's dental, vision, and hearing coverage. As you know, the plan that you have, Medicare Supplement or Medicare Advantage, has no dental, vision, and hearing coverage. Or if you sold them an ACA plan without dental coverage, it doesn't cover that either. The good news is I can plug that hole for less than $1 a day. Not much more than what you're paying right now for your Medicare Supplement, MA plan, whatever it may be, and we can get you covered with that. Some people will do a drip email campaign. Chris, I know you're good at teaching people how to keep in touch with their clients. Make that one of the bullet points that you bring up in a January or February email to that client. So, Ms. Jones, great time of year to look at this additional coverage that frankly, you don't have right now. Good news is it's very inexpensive. It's a guarantee issue. You don't know health questions. Give me a buzz. We can get it knocked out in 5 or 10 minutes. Great way to use a slow time. And as you know, the more policies a client has with you, the less likely they are to work with anybody else. It's going to help with your persistency when they get a rate increase on that med sup, which they will, call you and not go back to some website where they're going to become a shared lead and go to 15 of your biggest competitors. So kind of whet your appetite and tell you guys what others are doing in this space. We work with a lot of call centers, and we work with a lot of guys working out of the third or fourth bedroom of their house, phone sales, call it whatever you want. We've got one group at the top end that is attaching this product, this specific product, to 33% of the Medicare supplement applications that they sell. We've got several who are attaching it to north of 20 to 25%. It's getting done by people who are no better than you. This is, I hesitate to say easy, but it's not difficult. We'll put it that way. And that is a reasonable, a goal to put out there. Put 20% out there. Put 15 to start. I mean, again, you're at zero now, or you're, maybe just getting started. But the people who are well versed in this and know what they're doing are attaching it to 20 to 33% of the sales that they make. Wow. So
yeah, that's a big wow. And they're doing a lot of policies on the MedSup side too. So that's a lot of numbers. It
is. And when we go through the dollar amounts here in just a second, hopefully that'll really whet your appetite. So last thing we're going to do before we run through the numbers, let's talk about some common objections. And I've touched on a couple of these already, as I have with most of these bullets. Again, I get excited. I get ahead of myself. All right. The first objection here, and the reason it's first, is because this is typically the objection of the insurance agent, not the client, the agent, sometimes the client. So let's talk about that. Here's what I will tell you. Most of the people that you write a Medicare supplement to are probably earning $1,000 to maybe $2,000 a month Social Security. And tragically, a lot of them don't have much more else coming in. So if that person were to have to get the bad news that they have to get a crown, and let's just make it even worse, because oftentimes you're getting a crown, you're getting a root canal too. You get the double whammy. So they're looking at $2,000. Their options, if they don't have this plan, is to put it on a credit card, if they have one, pay cash, which they likely don't have, or fill out that Care Credit app, which after, I think, 12 months goes to 18% interest if they've not paid it off. Not really good options. If they were to pay $1 a day and they're now in their second year, they're going to get 70% of that covered. Their third year, they're going to get 80% of that covered. Guys, you just did them a fantastic service. Don't think of yourself in this situation, because likely you can probably afford $1,000 or $2,000. It's not going to be fun, but your situation is a little different, more than likely, or at least I hope it is, than that citizen on a very limited income. Keep that in mind when you're talking to your clients. Don't curb sell. Talk to them about what this does, how it's going to help them. Walk through the plans. Let them make up their mind. I think you'll find most of them see it as a very good use of their money. The second one, and we touched on this briefly, my dentist doesn't take insurance. Well, Mrs. Jones, does he take cash? And they're going to smile. They're going to go, well, yeah, I would think so. He takes my credit card or my debit card. Well, Mrs. Jones, I'm joking with you, obviously, but let me help you understand how this plan works. It sounds like your dentist is not going to file no matter what insurance you have. And that's fine. That's his right. It's not like Medicare supplements where all of them file for the most part. So what happens is you'll continue to pay him cash or check or credit card just like you do now. When you get that receipt, there'll be a claim form that you fill out. Really all you do is, attach the receipt to it, and it tells you where to mail it. And you're going to get reimbursed for the charges that you had. And then go through those bullet points that I went through with you earlier, let them know that an average cleaning is going to be about $210 as far as the gross amount of money that they're going to get from that. So that objection now has gone out the window. Yeah, he's not going to file, but you are going to get paid on this. You'll just get reimbursed in about 7 or 10 days from the company. I love the third one. It's my favorite. But Taylor, you don't understand. I don't have any teeth. Okay, great. Well, as part of the presentation, I've heard you say "huh" 2 or 3 times, and you mentioned you're married. I'm going to make your wife as happy as possible today by getting you coverage that's going to allow you to get hearing aids. Well, fantastic. Yeah, I definitely have a need there. Or, Mr. Jones, I'm guessing you've got 2 eyes. I do. Do you wear glasses? Well, every senior I know does. Well, we're going to be able to help you with glasses. We're going to be able to help you with hearing. But better yet, you mentioned you don't have any teeth. I'm guessing you've got a set of dentures. I do. Here's an important question. When was the last time you had to purchase those? Next question. When was the last time you had to have them repaired or serviced or fixed? How much did that cost, whether it was a repair or whether it was the new one? Help them understand that dentures, although are great, they're not cheap. And it always seems like, it's funny, I was talking to a group of agents, and they were telling me how one of their clients told them that they were eating a popsicle, and of course it was one of the front teeth on the on the denture that popped out when they got a little aggressive going into that frozen popsicle. Obviously, you don't want to go around town missing a tooth, whether it's a real one or not, and getting that work done is not cheap. So after the first 12 months, this plan does cover dentures. It does cover denture repairs. So
wow.
That's how I overcome the I don't have any teeth, is by talking about their 2 eyes and their 2 ears, and, of course, what the denture coverage is on the plan. The last one is usually they're a little frantic when they're talking about this one. But, Taylor, you don't understand. I need coverage now. I am in pain. Every time I have coffee, it's on fire. When I have a milkshake, it's just brutal. I can't chew, blah, 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 blah. Okay, Mrs. Jones, hey, number one, I'm sorry you're in a lot of pain. I've been there. It's not fun. Dental work is just the worst because it's not cheap, and it usually comes on out of nowhere. So let's talk about what this plan will do for you now, and then let's talk about, down the road. So number one, it's going to cover however many fillings, cleanings. It's going to cover, getting extractions done. All of that can be covered immediately. Maybe what you need is just to have that teeth pulled, or maybe it's a filling. Maybe it's that simple. Cleaning obviously is going to get you on the right track. You mentioned earlier you've not had a cleaning done in 3 years. That's likely why you're having some trouble now. We can get all of that stuff on the right track today. But Taylor, you don't understand. I've got to have a crown or a root canal right now. Well, hey, I get it. What's going to happen with this plan is you're going to start the clock on when you're going to get that coverage, because it's not going to pay that for you right now, but it will cover that in a year. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to pay cash, credit, fill out that Care Credit app to get that work done, because obviously you've got to have it done. Again, hopefully an extraction will get it done for you. But if it doesn't, then, those are your other options. But, Mr. Jones, I know that's not what you want to hear, but let me turn the table for you real quick. You're going to be the insurance company. So I'm going to pay you $31, and you're going to pay my $1,000 crown day one. And let's assume it's 70% or 60% in year one, just like it is with the rest of the things. So that's $600. So after the $100 deductible, you're looking at $500 that you, the insurance company, since you're now the insurance company, is going to pay out after me, the client, has paid you $31. And there's more. I'm never going to pay you again. How good of a deal does that sound for you, the insurance company? Well, Taylor, when you put it that way, it sounds, well, I guess it makes sense. Right. Ms. Jones, obviously this company's not in business to go out of business. The benefits are very rich, but they've got to have a chance of making some money. And if they give that kind of coverage out day one, they're not going to be in business, not for you or not for anybody else. So, again, I wish we could cover all that major stuff now. Hopefully you understand why there is a wait on that. But, again, here's what we can cover today, and we can start that clock on that major work being covered by getting you enrolled today. That may work, it may not, but at least it gets you on the right path. Any other objections you want me to run through, Chris, while I've got you?
No, I can't see any. I think that'd be the big ones right there.
Those are the big ones. Those are the common ones. So we're getting a little long here, but the good news is, what's in it for me? I've been talking about premiums, been talking about commissions, so let's run through what is in it for you. Average premium on this policy is a little over $400. That obviously is assuming some $1,500 plans are sold, maybe some family rates, but that's our average premium. Policy pays a maximum of a 6-month advance, and in all states you're looking at a 40% year one commission, and there's 5% renewal lifetime starting in years 2+. So average premium $425 times 40% is $170 in first year commissions. They're going to pay half of that to you up front if you elect for the advance. If not, you'll be paid as earned, like you would on any other policy. So keep in mind, if you're a big MA agent and you like to get paid for the work you do during AEP, this is a great product to write because you will get paid weekly from CUL, unlike that Medicare Advantage plan that you're writing that's not going to pay you until January or February. ACA is even worse. Shoot, most of them aren't paying anything anymore, and if history is any indication, if it is a plan that does pay commissions, a lot of those don't get it figured out until the middle of the summer the next year. So this will get you paid immediately. It'll help you get through AEP where you won't get paid on those other plans. So one sale a week is going to make you almost $9,000 of new money, additional commissions on top of whatever it is that you sell to keep the lights on normally, MedSup, MA, ACA. One sale a week. Guys, we have a small call center here in our office. We sell an average of about 6 per week per agent. So 6 times 9, that's $72,000 in additional money that you've made for your family by talking to them about a $30 a month dental plan. That's a pretty good deal. Goes back to what I said earlier when I made the bold prediction that this is the best combination of rates, of benefits, and commissions for the agent, enrollment tool. I can keep going, but I'll stop. That's out there. It's a great plan, and that's why the sales on this are just going through the roof. I touched on the last bullet. The last 2 bullets, great way to make money during AEP, great way to make money during lock-in. The more policies a client has with you, the less likely they work with anybody else. But wait, there's more. There's actually incentives on this product. They just had a $25 per app incentive that ran through September. It was for August and September. That is currently expired, but I'm sure they'll offer some other short-term contests here soon. But the big ones are a 7-day cruise to Tahiti, and that's $85,000 in business. Obviously a big chunk of business if you're just writing dental. But the President's Club is very reachable, and that's to Grand Cayman in 2017. And that's a 5-day trip. It's not 7 days like the Chairman's Club. And I think the premium is $50,000. I sent that to you earlier, Chris, and so you can post that with the other information on this and double-check me, but I think it's $50,000. And there's late start on both of those. So agents, if they're getting appointed about the time that we're having this presentation, you'll find the numbers are even easier to hit. Last slide, we're done. Here are the other products that Century United Life offers. Obviously, Medicare Supplement with Manhattan Life. But in addition to the dental, vision, and hearing, they've got a fantastic, robust fixed indemnity plan that pays you $3,000 your first night you spend in the hospital. They've also got hospital indemnity plans that are currently designed to be sold with a Medicare, ACA plan. They're working on rolling out a hospital indemnity plan to sell with the Medicare Advantage plan. That's in design. It's not ready yet. And then they've also got a great accident plan that we've been selling for years. Term life, simplified issue term life plan up to $200,000. Very simplified issue, limited health questions. And, yeah, so there's some other great products that they offer, whether you sell over 65 or under 65. Again, this is the one that works in either market, over or under 65. Chris, we have made it to the end.
Yes, and you've done a fantastic job as usual. Thank you so much for that information. Now, if you would leave me with 1 or 2 tips for instituting this inside the call center environment to do it on a mass scale, what would you say to the call center manager that's now going to be implementing this product to get the conversation started? What are the tips to get that kind of attachment rate of 20, 25, 30, 33%? Any tips there?
It really starts with, number one, starting the conversation.
Yeah.
One of the call centers that we work with, they do a lot of custom code as part of their platform that they use. And when they get towards the end of their Medicare supplement presentation, they don't do MA plans. They literally have a pop-up box that shows up that says, "Did you ask them about dental, vision, and hearing insurance?" Mm-hmm. We were actually in their office when we were with the CMO of Century United, and he got the biggest kick out of that. The biggest hurdle you'll have is just saying, guys, it's getting done. And if they're I would say ask your agents, if you're talking to the call center manager, ask your agents how many times a week they get asked about dental, vision, and hearing insurance. And they're going to tell you. They're going to say every single week, maybe every single day. I mean, again, because it's real. This is the product that people ask about. And when you walk them through, and I always start with saying, are you familiar with Manhattan's MedSup e-app? Yeah, it's the best one on the market. Same e-app. But this time, we've got no health questions. And it's the same e-app, no health questions. We're talking $1 a day, and it plugs 3 things that your Medicare supplement doesn't do. It's a pretty good deal. And it's going to help the persistency with the plans that you sell. And again, the button to push, and I touched on it earlier, is, look, you guys are all paranoid that they're going to go back to that website or websites where you found them the first time. Mm-hmm. You don't want that to happen. If you do all the different things that you tell them already, hey, do your drip campaigns, birthday cards, or emails, or whatever communication you have. And I always encourage you at least once a month, believe it or not, on some kind of communication where you're touching that client. If you've also got another policy in the house, they're not going back to that website. You've taken care of them. You reach out to them when they get a rate increase, or at least let them know it's coming and say, hey, call me if you have any questions. You're doing your job. They're not going to hope for anything better. And then I always close by going through the just like we just did. Show them what's in it for them. Look at the dollars. Guys, this might cover your lead cost.
Right.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
And that brings up my other question to you.
Yeah.
I know that some agents that I've talked to that run call centers have said this would be the perfect door opener to lead with this, with their telemarketers that are in the Philippines opening doors for them all day long with MedSup. This would open 10 times more doors because the people are actively looking for and don't know where to get this kind of plan. And then on the back end, you could have the conversation about, oh, by the way, what about your Medicare coverage, that kind of thing. Do you know anybody that's doing that as a lead-in with the dental, vision, hearing?
I don't have to look far to actually answer that question. That is what we lead with, because we have an outbound call center here in our office. It's not in the Philippines. It's in our office, but it's no different, and that's our lead-in. That's how we get the foot in the door, and then we cross-sell everything under the sun once we talk to them.
That's awesome.
You hit a home run. I mean, you could do it either way. Right. You can use it as, by the way, if you're getting your foot in the door with the MedSup. But it's a lot easier to get your foot in the door. And if you look at pricing on leads, if you're buying leads, they're a lot cheaper, dental, vision, and hearing, because there's no health questions.
Yeah.
And it's just, and people are much more receptive to talk about that than anything else because they likely don't have it. So great point. Excellent point.
That's awesome. Taylor, I can't thank you enough. This is an excellent product, and thank you for presenting it in a way where we can actively go and hit the ground running right now with it.
Happy to help, my friend. I can't wait to see how well you and your team do. It's going to be fun to watch.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Taylor.